Hello, my name is Quinton Hennigh. I am Director and Technical Advisor to Irving Resources. Irving is a Japanese-focused gold explorer with a very unique strategy. It's a pleasure to be here today. I always love talking about Irving. I'm really excited to talk about where the company is at and where it is headed. Before I begin, I must draw your attention to our disclaimer statement. This statement is part of our corporate deck on our website. I would urge you to read it at your leisure. Irving's mission, what are we looking for? We are looking for gold and silver deposits, but we're looking for a particular kind. These are deposits that are silica rich. In other words, they can be used as smelter flux in one of Japan's many smelters. Base metal smelters for copper, lead, and zinc demand lots of silica every year. And what better way to make silica flux than to bring gold and silver ores in, and the gold and silver can be produced alongside those precious metals. It basically saves building a whole mill or tailing storage facility, things like this. It's an absolutely elegant way to produce gold. They've been doing it in Japan for many decades, if not generations. This is the traditional mode of Japanese gold production. Before I talk about the company in greater detail, here you can see our shares out. We're at 62 million shares out, fully dilute 67 million shares. Newmont holds about 14% of the company, and we have about 6.7 million in cash. Working in Japan is all about building relations. You can see that we have a largely Japanese team. Akiko Levinson, of course, is our CEO. We have an absolute exceptional team in place that includes not only members, in-house members of our team, such as Harada Hara, but Kaz, our lawyer, and Takaoka-san, our lead advisor, all Japanese, long history of work in the mining space, and really helped us build a strong company here. We have very close relations with many Japanese mining houses, as well as the government, in particular JOGMEC. We've got great relations with the community. Omu, which is the main community we work near, is very supportive and keen to see us advance our project. We have a great deal of respect amongst Japanese authorities, and we continue to build very strong relations with all of the new communities that we enter, including those in Kyushu, where we've recently set up shop. Okay, here's a little history of gold mining in Japan. You can see some of the more famous gold mines. You got Konamai way up in the north, and that's near Omu. That's near one of our projects. Sato is on an island off to the west of Honshu. Down in the south, you got Hishikari and Kushikino. These are big mines. These are mines that have really produced a huge amount of gold. Hishikari in particular produced on the order of 9 million ounces at this point. It has huge resources and reserves left. Will have a long mine life. But it shows you that Japan is truly a gold province. They've been producing gold here more or less since the beginning of the Edo period, about 400 years ago, a little bit more than 400 years ago now. Here's a picture of the mill at Hishikari. This is an exceptional operation. There is no mill. Okay, the point is the young ladies you see here sort out material specifically for smelter flux. So the quartz vein material, which is white, is separated, the black material, which is the waste, is separated from that white quartz material to produce a very high silica material that can be used for smelter flux. Below this floor, there's a level in which an optical sorter sorts finer grain material, and then below that, all of the sub-half-inch material is basically put in bulk bags and shipped to smelter flux. So really, there's no mill tailings. There's no mill that needs to be capitalized. This is a very cheap mode of operation, and that's kind of the model that we're pursuing here. You can see that the mine there at Hishikari has a very small footprint. You would drive by it on the highway. You wouldn't even know what it was. There's no mine dumps, no mill tailings, nothing. Okay, this is a very clean operation, and that's really how you have to operate in Japan. The lower photograph in the lower right is of the Konamai mine site, completely reclaimed. You wouldn't even know there was a mine there except for the old smelter stack, which is kept for historical purposes. Here you can see some photographs of the many smelters across Japan. These smelters demand tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of tons of silica flux every year. And we have close relations with many of the Japanese mining houses, and we feel very confident we can bring our product into the smelter flux stream. There's lots of opportunity here. Okay, so to set our business model, it's very simple. We're looking at high silica precious metal rich veins. These are generally epithermal veins, so they have to be low in deleterious elements to make them smelter friendly. Most of the epithermal systems in Japan are, and they often have a small footprint. Okay, these are not things that we have to build big open pits. Like I showed you at Hishikari, these things are very tidy mines. They also ideally should be near shipping facilities. Look at the ocean behind us. We are very near the port of Omu. We can ship this stuff out in bulk to any of the smelters in Japan. And we want to have a low impact on communities and also respect cultural heritage, especially around environmentally sensitive areas. Okay, so this is our vision. This is our business model. Now, what are we looking for? Geologically, we're looking at hot spring epithermal deposits. I'm not going to give you a long diatribe about these other than to say these are related to volcanism. They are basically hot spring systems that bring waters up from deep in the ground, usually associated with magmatic activity. And those waters often have a lot of minerals dissolved in them, including gold and silver. So as they rise to the surface, there's changes in chemistry, which basically force the fluids to drop out all that gold and silver. And they can create very, very high-grade veins, along with the silica that the fluids are carrying. Now, at the surface, they create deposits of what we call sinter. So there's sinter terraces, things like that form at the surface. You can see here in this cross-section. Hishikari, which is that famous mine on Kyushu, is just such a type of deposit. You can see the veins here in the cross-section. They were found back in the 1980s at a particular break between the basement rocks in Hatcher and the volcanic rocks above them. And the veins, exceptionally rich veins, many, many veins, very continuous over many hundreds of meters. These things have produced millions of ounces of gold. So you can hide a lot of gold in a small footprint system like this. Here you can see our properties scattered across Japan. We've got a collection of properties up in Hokkaido in the north. We've got the Noto Peninsula properties in the middle. And then we have several properties now down in the south in Kyushu. We're going to talk about Omu first. This is the project we focused on mainly for the past few years. It is our most advanced project. There are 3 targets across the project. We have the area we call Omu Sinter near the ocean, where we found a pristine sinter terrace and a preserved hot spring system underneath. We also have the Hokuria mine in the southwest. This is an area of historic mining. It is exceptionally rich. You can see the stream sediment anomalism here. It seems to have a very big footprint. And then the Omui mine, where we know there's historic mining, we also see a very big footprint. We're going to talk about the drilling that we did at Omui. Look, in 2019, we started drilling here. This was pre-COVID. We had enormous success. That one of the first holes we drilled was a fairly deep hole. It went down to 500 meters and change, and it hit 21 mineralized veins. It was an absolutely remarkable outcome. And the system, our interpretation of where we're at in the system is shown here. Basically, we see a number of veins all the way up from that shallow sub-sinter realm all the way down to the deeper part of the system, where we feel very confident we're onto a major system here. Now, we came back and drilled this is also at Omui, at Nanko, in 2020. It was during COVID. It was tough times, but we got some drilling done, and we also hit exceptional results. You can see many of the high-grade results here, both gold and silver, that we encountered at Nanko. So again, Omui really delivered. Now, as we interpreted this area, we feel that we're seeing the very top of the hot spring system. We see a lot of real silica-rich rocks and stuff, so we think we're right below the center for the most part. And then what we found in 2021 really opened our eyes. Okay, so in 2021, we started drilling back at Hompi, and one of the 2 holes we hit, enormous amount of sinter, but it was buried below the surface. That purple horizon is sinter. And what it opened our eyes to is the fact that there's a buried system here. There's basically another epithermal system at depth below the existing system. So our interpretation of this is that the system was forming, a hot spring system was forming, like you see in the upper left, but it was buried. It was abruptly buried by volcanic rocks in green, and the system tried to rejuvenate itself. It basically tried to break through and form a new hot spring. So we have two levels. We have two levels of the system. Now, we were only testing the upper level until we had this revelation. And now we know there's an untested system below. This has really changed our view about the whole property. And we are eagerly anxious to get back to drilling this area. Now, we did drill a couple holes earlier this year. They came from the south and tested down into this area here. We're not able to drill from the north just yet because we didn't have permits and things set up, but we are setting that up now. And we're going to test this feeder zone at depth very, very soon. Here you can see the Omu Sinter project. Lots of drilling there, very good intercepts. Once again, this has a number of very high-grade results. In fact, one of the first holes we drilled was very high-grade. You can see 137 gram gold equivalent. We will get back there, do more work. Hokuria, we just started our first drill program there late last year. And the first hole, which is shown in yellow, the position of which is shown in yellow, we did hit high-grade veins. Narrow veins, but very high-grade. Okay, so we do see very good results in all three areas at Omu. We have aggressive plans for the remainder of this year to pursue drilling at Omu, at the Omu Sinter area, as well as Hokuria. We're drilling at Hokuria right now. We'll be drilling at Omu very soon. Now, on top of that, we have our wonderful projects down at Yamagano. This is the nearest project to Hishikari. We have basically the crown jewel of exploration in Japan. This property called Yamagano is a historic mining district. It's produced somewhere on the order of 1 million to 2 million ounces of gold, very high grade. Goes way back to the Edo period. We were able to cut a deal with the Shimatsu family who've held this for hundreds of years, and we are now about to embark on a detailed exploration program alongside Newmont, in which we're doing geophysics, including CSAMT and magnetics and gravity, and we're going to put together targets that we can drill here in the next few months. Importantly, this area is covered. Okay, so that yellow line, which basically draws a boundary against the historic veins that are shown in this map, that yellow line is marking volcanic cover that covers the area to the east. We think the veins that are present in the west will extend under this cover, and we're very eager to test this area with drilling. We need geophysical data to help drive that exploration. Now, what are we doing this year? Look, my talk today is very short. I would urge you to join us for the question session afterwards, as well as my interview with Jay Taylor. I cover a lot more detail in that. But this year, in short, what we're doing is an expanded Phase 3 drilling program at Omu, and it will test that lower Sinter horizon as well as that feeder. I think there is we'll call it a Fruta del Norte type system at depth there, and we're very anxious to test that. We have bought new drill rigs. We announced recently we bought 2 brand new drill rigs. We are shipping those to Japan. One will arrive in July, and we're going to hit this hard. The other thing we're doing is additional geophysical work at Omu, which includes CSAMT. That's going to give us better resolution on new targets. We are also doing Phase 1 drilling right now at Hokuria. We expect those drill holes to return more high-grade vein results like we saw late last year. And then we have more work planned at Omu Sinter later this year. It's usually better drilled in the fall time when the snow is falling up in the higher terrain. All right, in Yamagano, we're going to do CSAMT work there. Again, geophysical work to help identify targets under buried terrain, much like we're doing at Omu. We're going to seek permits for drilling after we get all that geophysical data and identify those targets. And then we plan a drill program in the winter months of 2022, 2023. Now, I wish I had more time to talk to everyone about this story. It's an absolutely riveting story. We are, in my view, the best operator in Japan in terms of production of exploration results. And we have absolutely stellar properties and nothing but good things to look forward to. And I would really urge you to connect with the company. I'm always happy to answer questions, but we're very responsive. We can address any questions that investors might have. And with that, it's been a pleasure to present to you today, and I hope to see you at the question session afterwards.